Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Game Theory reaction. So, this video is a bit of a surprise, because less than 2 days ago, Game Theory put out another, video talking about, the best team compositions in Marvel Rivals? And just yesterday, they put out this video. I made Minecraft Suspicious Stew in real life. So, honestly, the fact that the Marvel Rivals one came out early, the only thing I can possibly think of is that that video was supposed to come out last week when Game Theory had, when Tom made his couch video talking about, AI and YouTube and stuff like that. So, honestly, I like it. More Game Theory in one sitting, though, editing all this down to release it all on the same day, that's going to be a bit of a pain. But what are you going to do? But yeah, so the Suspicious Stew. God, I haven't actually played Minecraft in a while. How do you actually make the Suspicious Stew? Because I know it's one of those things where you make it with a flour, and then, depending on what flour you use, it gives you a different effect or something like that? Okay, yeah, so it's literally just, it's the same as mushroom stew, except you also include a flour in it. Okay. So, yeah, make the Suspicious Stew in real life. So that would mean making a mushroom stew with flowers in it. Now, okay, so I know there are edible flowers, but for me, this whole thing is kind of a little iffy, mainly because I don't like mushrooms. I'll have them if they're part of something, like a small part, say on a pizza or something like that. Yeah, so if you've ever had it, there's a Canadian pizza, and it's pepperoni, onions, and mushrooms. And I can usually stomach that because, the mushrooms are only a small part. But if the mushrooms are, a more major part of a dish, I generally don't like it. But also, edible flowers. I know there are some edible flowers, but I also know there are a lot that can be poisonous if you don't, eat them correctly, or just if you eat them in general. Though I guess, that does just point more, more accurately towards Suspicious Stew, I suspect. So is this going to be, I'm just scrubbing through the timeline here. Is this, yeah, oh yeah, this is going to be a live action video. Okay, so this should be fun. Okay, again, there's a while not one of the things I watch the most, I do like watching cooking videos. There's a reason I'm subscribed to Binging with Babish. So yeah, we should probably get this thing started. So yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video lead to my game theory reaction and my film theory reaction, because apparently there's going to be both of those linked up there. And if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because over 3/4 of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I'd very much like that to change, because my next big goal is hopefully hit 6,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
What is Suspicious Stew? In
Suspicious,
Minecraft,
that's
it's a
what.
mysterious food that gives you one of several status conditions depending on the ingredients you put in. But have you ever wondered what this magical bowl of food would actually taste like? Well, today, we're going to find out.
Again, if you like mushrooms, I suppose it would taste rather good. Because I know, you can use mushrooms in a lot of stuff, like mushroom gravy. It's just an example I can think of off the top of my head. And then, for Lithuanian, the koldūnai they're essentially Lithuanian versions of, pierogies, only a bit smaller and not usually, and the filling isn't mixed with potato. But I know, you can have meat, cheese, and also mushroom is, a very popular filling for them. As well as just, Lithuanian cooking in general, so there's a lot of mushrooms in there.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that, if you drink it, gives you a special power. The power to subscribe. And guys, I'm just gonna say it. I love Minecraft. I love the mechanics, I love the world, and I especially love the lore that we've been uncovering over the last several years. But despite everything we've accomplished on this channel, there is still one question that I have been unable to answer. What does Suspicious Stew taste like? Normally, when you get a stew, you understand what it tastes like based based purely on the name. Beef stew, chicken stew, even in Minecraft you have rabbit and mushroom stew. But suspicious stew is named purely based on the fact that, from just looking at it, you don't know what status effect it's going to give you. And so, from what I could tell, no one has ever really figured out what it's supposed to taste like. So today, I wanted to end that mystery. But not just in theory. I wanted to actually get hands-on and taste it for myself. The problem is, I'm not a food guy. Sure, I love me some good research, and I'm not exactly bad in the kitchen, but this is getting to a level of foodie that I am not equipped to handle. I needed help. Help from a friend of the channel. Someone whose opinions I could trust. Someone who knows their way around weird ingredients and crazy recipes. Sorted food. What? You thought I was gonna say Santi? No, I need actual chefs.
And so,
Okay,
here we are.
okay.
We are here in the kitchen.
Actually, you know what? I haven't looked at food theory in a while. What have they been doing recently? What happened to the dollar menu? Why does 1 pound of beef make you 1 pound? Does a 1 pound burger make you 1 pound heavier? Trickiest sorted foods with fake Taco Bell. What? Fake Taco Bell?
With the boys from Sorted, we have Ben and we have Mike. Guys, thanks so much for joining me.
It's going to be quite an interesting one.
Thank you for flying us all the way from the UK to Miami on your credit card.
You're most
So
welcome.
generous.
Okay, I can possibly see the reason why they had them come over is because they're all British. Okay, yeah. I can respect that.
Honestly, it's just nice to have some British voices again. This is where I was a little bit facetious at the beginning. While I say no one has really tried this, Mojang has, which sounds like the end of the episode. I promise you it's not. Hold tight. We have the official Minecraft cookbook.
As published, as written, as to be copied.
And then a little bit further in, I believe, is our suspicious stew. So if you have a look at that, what are your initial thoughts?
Vegan mushroom lentil stew, healthy and hearty. I mean, yeah, great.
It's pretty straightforward.
But Mojang went a step further. They made these. This is the official collaboration between Pringles and Minecraft in suspicious stew flavor. This was from 2022.
We love eating out-of-date food.
So-
Well.
What are you getting?
Yeah, it's suspicious. What?
Quite dusty, quite earthy.
If that's what they're claiming suspicious stew flavour is, it's mega savoury.
Not exactly the suspicious flavor any of us were expecting.
I mean, granted, like, suspicious stew is based on what it looks like. It like, looks, and, like, how something looks versus how it tastes can be two very different things. So, I mean, if you looked, like, based on what, you know, the in-game sprite looks like, if you had a bowl of, you know, brown and green goop in a bowl, I would imagine it could taste earthy if you were willing to taste it. But again, you know, the whole danger of suspicious stew is that there's the chance that you get a negative status effect like being poisoned or blindness or something like that. So, you know, it's all about, you know, either way, it looks weird, but, like, it can taste good if done properly.
If anything, it was just a generic savory flavor thanks to the onion powder, garlic powder, tomato powder, and paprika. Although, there were some ingredients that were a little more on the sus side.
All the usual things you'd expect to find in here, like disodium guanylate, disodium inosine.
None of those sound like ingredients.
And this is where we come into today's episode, because both of these are wrong. Says who? Says me, and their own freaking game. Because this is the actual recipe.
2 mushrooms, a flour, and a
bowl.
cow pat.
It's a bowl. So, yes, 2 mushrooms, a flour, and a bowl make suspicious stew. The recipe book got way too much going on. This doesn't have any mushroom in it, and you love mushroom powder. Why is that not in there?
That's true. Do you reckon we can make a stew from just 3 ingredients?
I'm kind of interested to see whether we can.
Unfortunately, it's a
I mean, like, again, the game, it's being simplified. So, I mean, if you wanted to make one that was as close to the in-game version as possible, I'd suspect you'd have to do a lot more than just 2 mushrooms. Like, I mean, so probably, like, multiple kinds, because, you know, because, again, you know, you have 2 different types of mushrooms there, plus the flour. But then you'd also need something for, like, the actual stew itself, like the broth, or what is it? What's the liquid in a stew called? Because I know it's not Because thinking about it, it wouldn't be broth, because broth is a soup.
It's a little more complicated than just following the recipe in Minecraft because some of those ingredients are not safe to consume.
This red one is fly agaric. Definitely poisonous. Please do not serve that to us. But from what I could research, people have been bold enough to boil it and use it for hallucinogenic purposes. And they say it has a typical mushroomy flavor, which what does that mean? There's so many. But it's got a slight sweetness to it. That's probably going to be where that shift has to happen. From there, we get into the flowers because, again, it's not actually one flower. There are 12 that
So
you
this
can
is
use.
flowers as a category.
Basically, it's just botany.
So you've got allium,
I mean, that looks like a chai flower.
you've got azure bluette, you've got the blue orchid, you've got a blue cornflower, a dandelion, lily of the valley.
If you say so.
I mean, I've seen Breaking Bad. That'd kill you.
So have fun with that one. You've got an ox-eye daisy, tulips, poppies.
And then there's the ingredients that don't even exist.
So now we've got this guy. This is the eye blossom, which, as you may guess from that name, isn't real.
Actually, wait a second. Going back, dandelion. I don't know about the flowers and the stems, because actually, some cool things I know about dandelions. So I know the leaves themselves are edible. Like my mom, in fact, my mom, child of a young immigrant family who came over here after World War II. Like they'd actually had, dandelion. They'd actually, when they were younger, go out and harvest dandelions to make into a salad because you can do the leaves. I don't know about the stems or the flowers though, because actually, a fun fact, dandelions, if you pluck a dandelion and break the stem, like the white sap comes out of the actual stem itself. Fun fact, that's actually latex and could be used to make rubber. It's like the same sort of sap that or very similar at the very least, that sap that comes out of a rubber tree. Again, I don't know if the flower is edible though.
Okay. It was part of their new update. It was meant to be from a spooky update. It's a bit strange. What it does that's interesting is it opens at night. Gives you blindness if you put it into your suspicious stew when it's open.
Oh.
And when it's closed, it gives you nausea.
So it's like the opposite of a mussel.
Basically. Now, this is another made-up flower called the torch flower. The torch flower in Minecraft is the torch plant in reality. There are these beautiful red hot poker, is they're also known as. They were used a lot in African tribal medicines.
Do they have an effect?
Yes.
They're as fiery on the way out as they are on the way in.
Yeah, exactly. They are also a night vision one. And so our final one here,
That looks sad.
it is sad. This is called the wither rose, which gives you the withering effect, which is basically just consistent pain for a while. But those are our 12. How do you boys feel?
It feels like there's a lovely balance between poisonous mushrooms and poisonous flowers, and we've got to go and collect something that's safe to consume and cook and be interesting and delicious.
Yeah, given that this video actually did come out and is being published on YouTube, I'm going to guess they didn't all die from food poisoning. Or not just food poisoning, just poisoning in general.
I reckon we can get away with it, because I reckon we can find versions of those and we can play with the definition and or spelling of flower.
So, with
Flower,
that,
yeah.
I think it's time I send you off foraging, as you put it.
No, wait, for a stew, isn't it called a roux or something like that? Okay, I'm trying to remember all my food vocabulary here and cooking vocabulary.
The supermarket or wherever you can find.
Let's go to the Amazon. I think we'll be able to find a lot of them from there.
I'm intrigued to see how you interpret some of these. Come back and show me the way.
Yes, chef.
It's going to be playful, but good fun.
Let's go for it.
And with all my in-game knowledge suitably dumped on them, the boys are off to bring our pixelated recipe into full three-dimensional reality.
And like that, we're back and you've been shopping.
Yeah, we've literally bought all the mushrooms, but only 2 types to stick to the pixel rules.
Yeah, so what did you end up going with for these? You've got a classic brown mushroom.
Yeah,
obviously.
classic sort of button mushroom, and then nice sort of king oyster mushroom, just because, well, they are the king of the mushroom world, and they've got more texture, more bounce, good body, and they work nicely in this as well.
Slightly sweeter.
Yeah, yes, certainly when you
go.
cook them out. Basically, we'll go in and saute off all the mushrooms, and then we'll go in with some flowers, or kind of plants. Some robust
You could forage
rosemary, thyme, obviously bay leaves, because
You can literally buy the foraging kits yourself. At the beginning of summer, like most hardware stores, in their garden centers have literal potted plants of fresh herbs that you can just harvest yourself when you're cooking. It works.
Chef's must. And then we'll throw in some plain flour,
Yep.
as in ground wheat, around the buttery mushrooms to form a roux, and then we'll
I was
use the
right.
mushroom broth to form a velouté around them. So
There we
it's
go.
essentially mushroom, plants and flowers.
Wow, so this is what it's like working with professionals. This
So let me look that up. What are some edible flowers, like actual flowers? Honeysuckle, eh? Wonder what the Minecraft like effect would be for that.
This already sounds delicious, you know, as long as you like mushrooms. But technically, this was the easy part. Now we're on to the more unique ingredients. At least I thought they were. But now that I have a professional chef involved, this may have been more simple than I first thought.
I have a soft spot for the very, very easy, granted, but the chive flowers or the allium flowers.
Okay.
Because I've grown them at home. They are so easy to grow even on a balcony, but I think we can just go heavy allium.
What does that mean then? What do you mean by allium? Because it sounds like you know what that means more than I do.
Onion family, so
Okay.
chives, leeks, garlic, onion, obviously spring onions or salad onions.
Oh, that is cheating. You're throwing in onions and garlic. Oh, that's just automatically gonna make this delicious.
And I think, given this is so earthy, raw allium into dishes,
Okay.
i.e. raw onion to finish a dish, or some spring onions or some chives, can give you a real acidity that just kind of lifts a dish. And I think the
okay,
earthiness
never
that
mind. I
actually
don't like
works.
raw
So
onions. I
simple,
don't like
job
them
done.
What
cooked.
Ben forgot to mention, but has since told me in an email, is that onions are also high in quercetin, which is a natural anti-inflammatory. Get it? Anti-inflammatory, as in fire resistance? Hey, don't blame us for that pun. I'm just happy there is some connection to realism in this game that we can achieve. All that's left to do now is taste it.
Excellent decision, getting me to forage and then taste and be no part of the group.
Well, I'm
Important.
glad that works for you. Very mushroomy, obviously.
I think we'll get a lot of copy and paste on
Yeah,
that.
I think we'll start to see a recurring theme there. That sharpness from the spring onion, it really cuts through.
And when we're developing a lot of recipes, we often consider adding a little bit of
Okay, so I'm honestly wondering, is this because like for me, I look at that and almost just think green onion, or shallots. I guess would be another word. No, shallots are their own thing. But yeah, is that literally just the same thing but just a different name due to geography, or is that actually something different?
raw onion with its sliced red onions, like not just as a garnish, enough so you actually bite through it and get the texture, because that allium warmth is really good in earthy flavours.
Very thick and pleasurable.
Well, there you go.
And on that note, let's move on.
So, we have azure bluettes next, but I'm seeing you're holding a red leafy vegetable.
Yes, we know that this
that
kind of
rhubarb?
stuff is bitter, so we've just gone for some kind of bitter leaves. Swiss chard, really good, wonderful because of the vibrant red, which so often when you see it in things like toadstools and mushrooms, avoid, but actually here it's delicious, just a bit bitter. And then we're going to serve it with some alfalfa sprouts and these gorgeous leaves.
And alfalfa sprouts, you were saying there's a similar
Soup.
flavour profile.
A similar
but-
flavour profile, but actually as something you can buy, these are hugely popular and trendy in sort of nutrition and well-being stores, but quite a dainty little option. Mike, come and not die.
It's almost like he doesn't trust you. What have you done to him over the years, Ben?
He's very trusting. There's not much he won't put in his
That
mouth.
is very
Why?
Like you're saying, bitter.
Bitter from the chard and the sprouts.
Adds that grassy note to the earthy tones of the mushrooms, but yeah, very much more on the bitter side rather than overpowering some of that umami even a little bit with some of how bitter that is. The crunch is nice.
For me, the curlies on top, just a little bit
Too much.
Too bitter.
Very popular in salads because they have that wonderful crunch. I quite like them, but they are very vegetal.
I can imagine with quite an
Vegetable,
acidic
yeah.
dressing, that would really, really work nicely. But
Yeah.
Okay, so a little more mixed on that one, but certainly better than a stew that makes you blind. Next on
Yeah.
our list is tulips, a flower which I've now learned isn't really edible outside of the petal. Although, good luck finding ones that aren't covered in pesticide.
Wait, I'm sorry, the petals are edible? Really? Huh, okay.
However, according to Ben, if you do manage to find one, or you just grow them yourselves, depending on the colours, you get flavours that are similar to things like peas and cucumber.
So that's what we've gone for. Cucumber, which all I've done is take the wet bits out the middle, and we're just going to put that through. So we've actually got the crunch and the snap of
Okay.
cucumber as a texture in it.
Yeah, I mean, like, cucumbers don't really have a flavor. I mean, it's very much, crunch and texture. I mean, granted, I'd assume they in there, and then there's also the water. So I mean, Yeah, I could definitely get behind this one, like, though, again, really weird, very interesting.
Pea shoots are absolutely phenomenal. A wonderful garnish on seafood dishes, pasta dishes, risottos.
I've never had these before, but I totally get it. So often there are like foodie things where it's like, oh, you get hints of this, like, and I'm sitting there going, do I get that? But that I absolutely get. Subtle pea, but in that kind of grassy, florally way that would probably, I would assume, match what we get from tulips.
But of course, as with any experiment, and with Ben being the chef that he is, he decided to change things up on me at the last minute.
I'm actually standing here thinking this was our plan, and now I'm thinking I might change it.
Oh, what's the plan?
The middles might be better.
Wow, gonna keep the wet bit.
Yeah, and I know this is supposed to be an experiment and we're making it up as we go along. I'm gonna go double wet and put it through.
See, Ben? Now you're thinking like a theorist. Welcome to the channel. But while Ben is changing up the plan, I am eating these pea shoots and having an interesting experience.
Oh, that's what's happening. I'm having a ever so subtle allergic reaction. It's fine.
Turns out, there's a reason I've never had these before, but with antihistamines in hand, I'm all good and ready to try this stew.
God, honestly, I mean, I'm lucky I don't have, you know, very many allergies. Like, again, I've talked about before, cats, dogs, and, like, seasonal hay fever in the spring and fall. I don't think I'm actually allergic to any foods, thankfully. I mean, knock on wood, age can do anything.
I'll just eat around the pea shoots this time.
Dig in, Mike, this one's a bit different.
Now that is subtle but nice.
Because of all the extra moisture we've added through wet cucumber, it's actually a nicer eating consistency.
Genuinely adding something, which is ironic because cucumber tastes of not much.
Until you put it into a big vat of water in a hotel lobby, and then it's the most cucumber
Very
you've
true.
ever tried.
Right? Very true.
And I think my chefy instincts love these flavours because just, I think, smell alone, they take you back to a greenhouse or an allotment or a grow your own, or just basically very spring summer vibes.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Well, you know, foraging around the overworld.
That one. I just forgot where I was for a second.
Okay, so at this point, we've had a few flowers that aren't truly edible, but Ben and Mike have put their true theorist brains to work using quote-unquote notes of other flavors to get us as close as we can. And on the whole, they've worked relatively well. But as we all know, sometimes we theorists love to overcomplicate things, and there are actually a bunch of flowers in Minecraft that we can just straight up eat, rather than adding garnishes or other vegetables. So let's start with the humble dandelion.
So, dandelions. It's a flower we all know. What are we
Or
doing
a
for
weed,
it?
but
It's a flower that's actually already quite a culinary flower. So,
Okay.
the dandelion root you can use in all sorts of things.
Oh,
But
really?
Here, the dandelion flowers we've picked up dried. You can either just make a tea from it, so we've literally just steeped it in hot water. Have a smell.
okay, so you can eat the flowers. Interesting. Okay, again, this is exactly why I watch, you know, things like this.
Very floral, earthy,
Grassy, that
grassy,
kind of...
but also they say quite honey-like,
Okay.
but not sweetness. So
Sure.
you get almost like the perfume floral of honey, no sweetness, but I am going to add some honey into it, so you now get the flavour and the sweetness. If we just strain it off,
Are they going to use
the liquid we're left with,
Wait, so are they going to use the dandelion tea for the broth of the stew? Okay.
should now be sweet from honey, but perfume from dandelion. A dandelion tea.
Look at that.
The question is, does that work
With the mushrooms.
with the depth of the mushroom? I don't know, but it's going to be pixelated, so I don't care.
Thank you, Mike, for stopping by once again. You've got the best job here.
I'm living the dream.
It's great, but
Although there's a little bit of lawnmower
yeah.
on the top of here.
Yeah, we went through the garden and just figured, you know what, that would work. I mean, this is Minecraft. It's all about foraging and finding your own food. So, like, this is quite literally...
I mean, they are scattered all over lawns and
Yeah.
meadows and parks in the UK, certainly.
Yeah, all over the place. But this is the tea that it comes from, which I want to try before I think about what it's going to do to that.
Please do. And then we mixed a little bit into the velouté to loosen it slightly.
Okay.
And finished it with some of the
Really,
leaves.
very mellow. That's nice. Again, I know it's like the sweetness, and we had a little bit of honey to help with that sweetness. That honey, ginger, lemon tea vibe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very much like that. It's just the grassy sort of earthy, but it's nothing like really potent.
No, it's the perfect balance between sweetness, so subtle that it just takes the edge off the grassiness, which makes it really, really tasty.
So now, here's it mixed in.
The mushroom loosened up, but actually I think it's the leaves. Again, I think in that dry form, an interesting eating experience in mouthfeel, but a slight pepperiness.
Oh yeah, delicious. The texture's really pleasant, actually.
But a subtle shift.
It's very, very subtle. Like, you could put more in and boil it down over time, to be fair. But now having like the sauce loosened up is nice. I almost expect it to be almost, I feel like gritty or like bitty, like when you get like something stuck in your teeth and you're like, oh, this won't shift. But it kind of just melts almost.
But it hasn't made it worse.
No, and that's the key thing. Like, if you got a bowl of this in your pirate ship, in your fortress, or wherever it is you find it, I mean, you probably wouldn't want to eat it because it's probably been there for centuries and you don't know if the refrigeration's good. But it tastes all right.
And should keep hunger locked up until lunch.
And he's not saying that just to make a pun. Dandelions do have an actual saturation effect thanks to the vitamin A inside them. You see, vitamin A regulates hormones like leptin, which can act as a satiety hormone that usually is produced by fat cells to signal to the brain that you have enough energy, therefore reducing your appetite. So I guess that's another win for Mojang and another win for us and the taste of these stews. Sadly, this more direct approach won't continue being as successful as we'd like going forward. Oxeye daisies, cornflowers, and poppies all have dried variants that you can use to make teas. They just don't really taste of all that much.
Yeah, it's just kind of like slightly grassy water.
The very subtle flavors just get completely overpowered by the strong, rich flavors of the mushroom base. Ben did try his best to make up for it with visuals.
Well, that looks fantastic.
Yeah, and the confession is, that's all.
Oh, really?
It looks fantastic, but we've not added anything to the stew. It's really just there for you eat with your eyes.
It smells good.
At least with the poppy, there is some extra texture thanks to the poppy seeds. But overall,
Poppy
the
seeds?
flowers
I didn't even think of that.
kind of been disappointing. Though there was one that even I felt pretty confident would change our tune, the Wither Rose.
So these I recognise.
Much more familiar.
Much more.
And on the scale of like petals and flowers and floral things to use, these deliver flavour.
They're the much more in
What
that
are those?
stronger rather than just vaguely grassy.
But also because somebody else has already done the hard work. They extracted all of the deliciousness into something like rose water, which you will find in all sorts of sweets and confectionery, I think most typically and famously in Turkish Delight.
Yes.
So good. Will they work with mushroom?
Yeah, so in a savoury dish.
Who knows? Something else from the florist?
Rose.
And or the line which in the wardrobe. You're left with it. It's not immediate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's almost like mint when you breathe in and you get that sense of like, that's the fragrance coming through.
Yeah.
It's almost like that.
I didn't think roses were edible, like, at all. That's really interesting. Okay. I mean, granted, I'm not going to go out of my way to start eating my mother's garden, but, you know, still, I mean, it's interesting to know.
We always say that 80% of flavour comes from what you smell and not what you taste. And I completely agree. It's all in the nose on that particular one.
Definitely are left with Turkish Delight.
Yeah.
At the end, aren't you?
Are you a fan?
Not massive.
No, I'm honestly similar.
So maybe the fact the previous ones didn't have much flavor was really a blessing in disguise. This one makes me feel like I'm taking wither damage every time I take a bite. So disappointing in the flavor department, but not in accuracy, I guess. Thankfully, we only have one more tea-based flower to get through, or at least that's what I thought this was going to be.
This is, again, pushing the extremes of what may or may not work with mushroom. But you gave me...
The eye blossom.
Apparently that's dragon fruit flower, which is a thing.
Okay.
The flower of the dragon fruit, and you infuse it to make a tea.
Okay.
Now, we know that not all teas have turned out to be the best thing to add to our stews. This one may well be a good example. So we have done exactly that, infused the dragon fruit flowers.
So they're dragon fruit, the flowers as well as the fruit itself? Okay. I mean, again, the few times I've tried dragon fruit, it's been rather tasteless. So I don't know how that's going to really work out, but, you know, okay, it's going to be interesting.
Into the tea. So it's an example of a flower that is nocturnal. So it either awakens at night and closes during the day, or vice versa, but it reacts to light.
Oh.
And dragon fruit is another example of that.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't realise that flowers did that anyway.
And then we've ended up with this.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
it
they
looks
do
right.
that.
Like these are obviously dried, but we'll show some on screen. But they are white flowers with these yellow centres, which is very much like the eye blossom.
However, given how well the flower-infused teas have gone so far, Ben is going to spice things up a little, not just by adding the tea, but the dragon fruit itself.
Yeah.
Ooh, now
You never thought you were going to see that in a bowl of mushroom stew, were you?
No.
I didn't actually.
This is
no.
definitely the oddest one we've done today.
But going back to the cucumber and how that worked,
With like a slight sweetness to it.
it starts to feel like it's going to do something. and then doesn't.
It has a bad turn.
Do you think?
So
It starts to feel like it's going to do something, but then doesn't. Okay, yeah, I can think of a number of times something like that has happened. Okay.
I agree with you. There's that thing in the beginning. It feels like something's about to happen, maybe some kind of interesting flavor combination. Then it kind of doesn't. And then I got like a slight aftermath of like, oh no, that doesn't, there's something wrong with that. That doesn't quite work.
But for me, that's what dragon fruit is, full stop. It's
Oh, really?
a beautiful fruit, but I think it always under-delivers. Compared to a kiwi, which I think behaves very similar in the mouth, it's similar black seeds, very similar texture, cold out of the fridge. You eat a kiwi and you go, oh, that's really sharp and tangy and delicious. Dragon fruit, you think, oh, it's gonna do, and it never kind of goes anywhere.
Yeah.
I think.
Fur coat and no pants is what you're saying.
Yeah, I see
I
what you
like
mean.
it just never quite gets there. So when you've got all the earthy mushroomness, I think it gets lost.
Needless to say, we all feel a little nauseated after that one. Though, thankfully, not blind. But if you thought that one was weird, trust me, friends, it's only gonna
Oh,
get
God, where are
weirder.
they going?
Because this is when Ben has to start getting, let's call it, creative with these interpretations. Especially when it comes to our next contender.
I'm intrigued by the curiosity of this one. Blue orchid, not something we can get hold of or would want to put anywhere near our food, and certainly not ingest. However, I recognise the word orchid and went immediately to one of my favourite ingredients, vanilla. Tenuous link,
Right.
you join the dots.
I mean, yes, so
Is vanilla an orchid? Or, like, I guess it would be related to it. But vanilla in a stew. And they're not just, and it looks like they're not just using the extract. They actually have the beans. Oh. I can imagine that already. That's gonna be weird.
Blue orchid, again, knowing this going in, blue orchid it's not strictly poisonous, I don't think, but it's not gonna do your belly much good.
No.
So I can see why you've gone in a different direction, as was the challenge, but vanilla?
Well, I've got no idea if it's going to work with mushrooms, but it can work in savoury with soft poached fish. It works lovely in like a tomato vinaigrette. Will it work with the earthiness of mushrooms? I don't know.
That's weird. I've never thought of putting vanilla in anything that wasn't a dessert or like a baked good or something. But I guess you could potentially put it in anything. But man, that's weird.
But it's the closest thing we had to orchid and blue orchid. Besides, the packaging was blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the seeds out from the inside.
Okay.
As soon as it hits the heat of the pan, you get a second round of vanilla flavour. Put a little bit of lemon.
Oh.
If I ever do sautéed mushrooms on toast with creme fraiche or some cream through at the end, a little bit of lemon again just lifts it.
Yeah.
And the reason I put it into this one above the others is because if you're not careful, it could end up being associated with sweet. I think the lemon will just have a little bit of acid that bring it back.
And this is why I got Ben to come on and help me, because I wouldn't have known that. I'd have just put something into it and gone, that'll do, and it would have been awful.
Yeah, I'm not so sure a bit of lemon is going to be your saving grace here, IRL me.
You can probably smell it in the room.
Can. Is this gonna work?
No idea.
No idea.
okay.
That this isn't designed to necessarily be good.
It doesn't not work.
Right?
It's very close to not working. It's not
Very
offensive.
No.
And weirdly enough, it's not clashing.
No.
But I get vanilla and I get mushroom, and they never really overlap
Yeah.
or interlock.
It's
They're
kind
kind
of-
of very separate.
Just kind of sits in that weird middle ground. It's not necessarily something you'd want,
Yeah.
but it doesn't not
Do you know,
work.
it's less disgusting than you'd think.
Let's move on to another one quick.
Yeah, let's go.
Although, honestly, I wasn't sure I wanted to. See, our next ingredient has me a little worried because, as Mike said so well at the start of the episode,
I mean, I've seen Breaking Bad. That'd kill you.
I mean, the in-game effect is poison, so putting one of those in a stew would be accurate, but I'm really hoping that Ben has come up with an alternative that doesn't mean taking a trip to the ER. American healthcare is scary.
And I'll be honest, what you did mention, I'd never heard of. After a little bit of Googling, Lily of the Valley, it looks very, very similar to wild garlic.
And obviously not poisonous.
And is much better flavour, great for chefs to play with.
Okay, so I can very much appreciate that they're just going to put garlic straight into it, which I wholeheartedly agree. Like, for me, like, there is no such thing as too much garlic. Too much garlic is a myth. When the vampires come in invading, I will be safe.
for a very seasonal time of the year. And then I realized it was late July. That's also impossible. So we're just gonna make garlic butter and wilt some baby spinach, and you'll have a similar effect that will also be delicious in a mushroom stew.
Okay.
Whew, crisis averted. Once again, why I wanted real professionals and not Santi,
Baby
who would have
spinach.
inevitably just tried to kill me for the lols. But we still need to convince Mike that he isn't going to die today.
Okay, but it's not actually lily of the valley.
No, you're not going to die from this.
Okay, great. Like it's almost got that slightly fragrant rawness to it in that you haven't cooked it out for ages, so you still get
Enough of that allium,
Yeah.
which we know is good.
Yeah, that's really, it's subtle, but it's like, but palatable enough that you're like, I can tell that's in there, but it doesn't like overpower the entire thing. That works. Who'd have thought the poison one that you're not supposed to cook would actually be the one where you're like, oh, this works.
Yeah, just bend a few rules.
Don't take that as a rule moving forward.
This is working and is the closest we're probably going to get realistically.
Now, if you're keeping track, you'll know that we're on to our final challenge, at least in the flower department, the torch flower, the red hot poker. We covered this guy in our sniffer episode when I first took over the channel, and even then I remember looking it up and finding out that while it was used for real-world herbal medicines for a multitude of ailments, humans shouldn't really be digesting it. So how is Ben going to bring this one to life?
I like these
throw
briefs
some
because
medicine
they're more
into it.
tenuous. There's no right or wrong answers, but you can make up a great story.
Absolutely.
Its kind of purpose is night vision, which means we need good eyes, which means we need lots
Vitamin
of
B.
vitamin A, and the step before
Never
vitamin
mind.
A is beta carotene. So beta carotene, our body converts into vitamin A, good for our eyes. So things like anything orange, anything like carrots. I thought sweet potato would be nice. So what I've done is boiled some diced sweet potato.
Okay.
We're gonna add that into our mushroom stew.
Yeah.
Along with arugula, which I've just chopped up, which will wilt down. And that's got
Okay.
lutein in it, which is basically something else your eye needs for good eye health.
Okay.
And then some chili oil, because
course.
that's the fire and the
It's
torch. the kind of
yeah, torch. I gotta say,
Okay.
like, that was one of the ones I looked at. I don't know what they're gonna do with this. I think that's a really nice interpretation, and it's a really good way of handling it, which is gonna make this one feel really different to everything else as well.
If that's not suspicious, I don't know what is.
Mike! Why are you here?
You've been calling me all episode.
Do you want to try it or no?
Can I?
No.
Yes!
I wish I looked like that.
Wait, what? Why was Santi just here randomly for one bit? Are they cooking this at Santi's house? Like, what's going on here?
Wow, I think this looks a little better than
I
everything we've
love
served you
the
so
look
far.
of this.
Dig deep, there's all sorts underneath.
Oh, we've got additions. Right, here we go. Ooh, peppery. No, chili oil.
Well, oh yeah, there it is.
And once the richness of the mushroom stew dies down, the pepperiness of the Szechuan oil comes through.
Szechuan.
Again, it's the. I don't think I'd like that. I mean, on top of, you know, being mushroom based, I don't like spiciness. I don't like chilies. Like, honestly, the most spiciness I can really stand is like Chipotle. And like depending on the location, General Tao's chicken, which again, like just a little rant here. I don't know what it is, but like I have never had like it doesn't matter like whether it's like it's been takeout food, all you can eat. Like when it comes to Chinese food, I don't know what it is, but General Tao's chicken is never the same between two places. I don't know why. And like 50% of the time, it's not spicy. Which, I mean, I like, but I know it's supposed to be spicier a little bit.
Oil. I like it. It's definitely got dimensions.
It feels like the first proper stew we've had, where you would typically have a lot more going on, but that heat is nice.
Torch flower, which means it's going to allow you to see in the dark.
Fantastic. And I will save on electricity during fridge raids at midnight. That's the best by far so far.
I would agree. It's really well balanced. It feels very full. It's got heat. It's got the umami from the mushrooms.
The natural sweetness of sweet
The
potato.
Exactly.
flowers actually add something.
Yes, I do have one more thing I want to try before.
Hey, what
we
do you
end,
know?
But we've done it. That's 12 suspicious stews, all done and dusted. Every single variety the game offers is here.
And I've got a degree in flora and fungi.
Yeah, I've noticed these have appeared.
Well, when we were talking about this, I understood that kind of like life points in the game was like, I thought it was a chicken drumstick at first, but it is a ham hock. So we've put some ham hock to go with it. But what is otherwise a plethora of mushroom
really?
stew.
What do we think? This has been an experiment. We've all been trying this for the first time.
Variety is the spice of life. I think they
Absolutely.
all look really different and quite inviting. but a lot of edible flowers rely on decoration or sweet, delicate desserts with cream and sugar and meringue where they have a place. They get quite lost in mushroom. I think my favourites were the ones that added sweet potato or spinach or allium, or were adding something to the base rather than just the top.
So basically the ones that kind of required a little bit more interpretation than the very literal, like, this plant is edible, so we'll put it in.
Or the ones that actually got closer to the cookbook in the first place, that had a few other root vegetables and stuff in it,
All of these dishes feel like small parts of a bigger thing. You've got spring onion here, you've got garlic is somewhere, that one. Like the poppy seeds to some degree, you've got the sweet potato from the torch plant there. So there's a bunch of like small pieces of the puzzle, almost like you've got one stew that has then been split apart into 12 dishes.
So now what you need to do is take all those bowls, put them into one big bowl, stir it together, and see what the whole amalgamate actually tastes like. Because actually think about it, that would probably look a lot more accurate to the stew in the game.
And so, I might regret this.
I know what you want to do.
But I want to try now putting them all together.
Now I know why you told me not to
Can I tell the future what's going on?
wash up that.
Yeah, don't wash up the big pot. We're gonna need it. So let's put all these together and see if the final concoction, if they balance each other out or whether it's just one horrible mess. You've somehow made this look good.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got mushroom left in my belly though. We put the ham hock on top, we've mixed it all together. It's now got floral, it's got spinach, it's got sweet potato, it's got poppy seed, it's got cucumber, it's got just about everything.
Still smells of vanilla.
Oh,
The vanilla right through.
That is not for me.
That is more
Still
vanilla-y now than in the 1/12 that we had earlier on.
it's also got, I'm getting little hints of things like the honey and
The
some of the rose, yeah. So, somehow all the bad things have risen to the top and I don't understand how they've done that. Because they were all kind of like subtle, they kind of are, not really. They've all combined to create a super bad.
May our powers combine, we are suspicious stew!
Those we had before were perfectly okay.
I blame the ham.
Well, you know, who knows? Maybe Mojang was kind of on the right path with one big stew that kind of stood out as all of that.
That's what's missing, lentils.
Perhaps not accurate in the game,
No,
but if you're buying a cookbook, you want the food that you cook to taste nice.
well, that was the point of today, was to try all these things, this video game that doesn't make sense, shouldn't make sense. We did it anyway, and I think we've learned a lot from it. I know I certainly have. I've learned a lot about plants and how they are used in food, the different kinds of variants there are, and the creative genius that actually goes behind cooking. Thank you guys so much for joining me and
Been a lot
indulging
of
me
fun.
here.
I just ate stuff. I had a great time.
It's been well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
But it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Sorted Food have actually got a video over on their channel, which you can watch, where they have asked me to taste test some of the most iconic foods in video games.
Huh. Okay. Really interesting, that one. So again, like, I don't think I'd ever actually try any of those, again, because I don't like mushrooms that much. But I mean, the one near the end with the pork and everything, I mean, like, now, I mean, granted, they said it didn't taste good, but now I'm really curious as to what like a stew with vanilla in it would actually taste like. Because again, like I'm no slouch to liking stranger food combinations. Like whenever we have burgers, whenever we do them at home, my quote unquote secret sauce is half like plum sauce and half ranch dressing. Or like my one of my more favorite breakfasts to have is like it's toast with Nutella and cheddar cheese. If I'm not like making eggs or something like that. So I mean, like, maybe I, being the weirdo that I am, would actually like having vanilla in a stew. But yeah, I mean, vanilla itself is already expensive. I don't think I'm gonna waste some of the very expensive vanilla extract we have on like an experiment like that. Especially since it's still a little too warm to make stews. Okay. But yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. So yeah, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.